So, Neil, you had an unexpected visitor a couple of nights ago.
I don't know if that was a visitor or I don't know. The one thing for sure was there wasn't anything that was cuckolded.
So, once you once once you found out and discovered who the visitor was, what kind of feelings did it evoke in you?
There were tingles that went up my body, like even something that would like an electric situation would go up my leg, my feet, up into my body, and knowing that on the other side there was something and I didn't know what. I didn't initially. I had no idea what it was.
So, after your visitor adjusted his frequency to facilitate you clearly seeing him, what was your next thought?
Still didn't know what was going on. Watched it. He picked up his left foot, and he didn't scratch his body like a dog does, but he did lift his left leg up, and he held himself well. And he looked around to his whereabouts. Where was he? He didn't know. It, or maybe she. It didn't know where it was, and I knew something about it from my history, studying my history in university and so on. And this year I read about, on occasions, I read about most things in regards to European history, the what happened, how it happened, what kind of gods they had, mythological, all of it. All of it, up into the Phoenix even, which which I enjoyed reading about, and which is what I think I saw here, and which is what's still around.
Right. So, before we get to the Phoenix, why don't we talk about Christ,
Jesus Christ, JC.
the man?
Well, he's gonna be my point guard. We're gonna play good defense and we're gonna stop everybody from doing everything, and hopefully we have JC up front. He can jump to the moon, can block shots, he can do everything. But no, and without fooling around, he's probably chuckling if he hears this, which he might. Uh, I've heard from numerous people in the United States that they used to see and they still see JC, and I always said to myself, no way, boo boo, not going to happen until it happened to me. And when it happened to me 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago, I made poo poo in my pants, maybe. I gotta be honest with you. He's been around for a long time. And he asked me a lot of questions too, not just me asking him. And it's amazing to think that we can go back somehow on some frequency and something can come out and be so important to what you're doing. It turns things around in many ways. It just flips them, just poof, you know. And that's what happened the other night. Or actually morning,
Right.
when I woke up and I had all this stuff to deal with, and it was, I know other people do this, but I was never able to, so I never was going to try. But I had been convinced by the Sultan that, what's the name of the word? He wants me to focus on one thing.
Yeah, meditate.
Huh?
Meditate and then manifest.
Manifest. He thought that I was more than able to manifest at that point in time if only I would make the effort. And and I was trying, and I could see things actually in this house. This is the house that almost got knocked down, was beat up, and everything else. It's fixed up a little bit. And I slept here the other night, and last night, and the night before, and all this. I just slept here. It's comfortable no matter what. It used to be nice until they destroyed it. But now I'm thinking that maybe I'll stay here even. I don't know. I don't know. But this thing here was here. And that was here next to me when I was going to sleep or trying to sleep. And I opened my eyes, and I could hear these things talking to me. I mean, the bird, the phoenixes and so on were out in the hallway, but the things here just so happened to be people.
So let's talk about that, because obviously you're now alluding to the fact that Christ was not alone when he came to visit you.
No, he wasn't, and that bothered me. But I thought it was a dream. My mother and father were at the what's the word they're looking for the the kingdom?
Yeah, the Koti Bower in Irish, Old Irish.
Koki Power.
Koti Bower.
Oh, Koki Bower.
The chariot.
The chariot happens to be I forgot the name again.
Well, they call it the Koti Bower.
No. What's the name of it?
It comes. Well, it's a chariot to accompany the dead.
Well, it's a chariot. No, not just taking you to that. The chariot comes down making noise.
Oh, it's banshee.
The banshee, and we've been raised to believe that the banshee has two things going. One, if it's coming to get you, and you've been a bad person or bad this or bad that, it was going to be very loud music and it would be bad. You were going to hell, but not hell, but their hell. And the other one would be soft music taking you up above. And I heard all this, and I didn't realize until it said to me, the can I say spirit? Was that the spirit, or was it not spirit? But whatever it was advising me and telling me that it's my turn. It wasn't advising, it telling me it was my turn to go. And the charter of the coach had already been brought down for me. And oh God, I had heard about things in the past, but they seem to fade away as you go along in age, and then all of a sudden they pop back up. And in this case, the person or the entity that was talking to me, telling me it was my time, I didn't know what to do, so I had to get up. I got up. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd say. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock rock. But it was there. And I was taken to the coach, and I was taken to look to the side of the back of it, the back side, and see who was there. And it was my mother and father. And I couldn't believe that. But it was them. And they were there. And they told me that they couldn't come to where I would be, but I could go to where they are. And they think it's beautiful where they are. I have never thought about beauty or anything in regards to hell, heaven, hell, whatever. But they managed to get it in that it's beautiful. There are so many things to look at. So you'll never run out of anything here. You'll never be hungry. You'll always be this, you'll always be that, Neil. I said, well, I'm going somewhere else because of what I've been doing, and I want to take you with me. And they didn't want to leave where they are because they're so comfortable where they are. And it makes it a little more difficult because it leaves me basically, if I'm looking at it from the here, it makes me alone. And I didn't want that. And I told them, well, how about this? For a certain amount of time, you can come visit me, and a certain time, I can come visit you. And that's what we agreed upon when they left. So, but it's amazing where they are. There isn't something different for us later. It could go either way. And we know when we get that, basically, too. And I've known this for a long time, when on the window you get the 3 knocks. Everybody in my household, in my family's household, got the 3 knocks. And they knew that it was coming. And that they were going to be picked up and taken away. The 3 knocks is important. I heard it also in the Dominican Republic. I heard it in Indonesia. The 3 knocks are not only for Catholics, it's for everyone.
But it didn't end there, did it?
With the 3 knocks?
No, with everybody arriving in a chariot with your parents.
It wasn't everybody, but just.
No, but I'm just saying it did not, the whole experience did not end then.
No, it didn't.
Would you like to talk about any aspect of your conversation with Christ?
With who?
With the man, JC? Or you want to keep that personal?
No. I gotta remember, like he said, I'm not gonna remember everything he told me. He said, as a matter of fact, I might not remember anything at all.
Did he talk to you about the purpose of the visit?
That's why I told you first, so you remain holding it, and I would, if he was accurate in telling me you might not remember anything,
Yeah.
somebody would.
Any insight into regarding the battle between dark and light and the role you were expected to play? Doing what you're doing? This close to actually starting the war, or?
No, he told me that we would get to where we have to be in time, when in fact I had thought we were already late, very late. And he interrupted me without me saying a word because he could read, he could, telepathy is a very important thing that he uses, and he cut to my head. See, he told me I might not remember anything.
Yes.
And sometimes I remember things in a rush, and other times there's nothing. So I have to get lucky, or you have to get lucky to catch me at that time if you want to hear what happened, you know? Even for me. Even for me. He told me that we were, that with what we've got and what we do, that we're in a position to put ourselves where they will never be able to hurt us. That's the first thing. They'll never be able to hurt us. That they're worried about everything that's happening because the things that are happening with for example, with him, the JC, with the spirits, the spirit world, and so on, that it's not anything that they ever expected to happen to me. And to be honest with you, I never expected that either. I never expected anything like it, never thought it would move like it did or speak like it did. It was so eloquent, and it made things clear to me that okay, I got what you're talking about now. It told me that at first that I had to prepare because I was leaving. I was leaving. I was going with my mother and father to another dimension. And so this is something that you got to hope for when you pass, is maybe your mom and dad are coming with the chariot, or maybe not the chariot, maybe not an Irish chariot, but maybe a French chariot or a Greek. They're all together as far as I'm concerned. But I lost my thought again. See, uh, my mom and dad made everything happen for me with him, and it was though they knew each other. That was a good thing. On the other hand, what was I? Where was I?
Talking about the message being that where things are going and where you're at, and the fact that you have everything beside you and within you and with him on your team, guiding you, whispering in your inner ear for you to listen to.
It's funny how he does that. But anyway, I want to learn that. I really want to learn it because you can't get him out of your ear once he's there. And I'm blowing my nose, he won't move. He won't move, and it's hilarious in a way when you think about it, but it's very serious because he's telling me things that I have to do in order to take this situation and turn it into the big win that we're expecting.
So really, that answers the why now, at this point in time. Why appear this in this manner to you? Why manifest himself to you in this manner right now?
Why would he manifest himself to me?
You just answered that. For you to, for you to make, you have a choice. You're either leaving in that carriage or you're going to stay and fight. So you're making a formal declaration to him personally.
I don't know what declaration I have, but they say I signed something, and
Your soul contract.
and I'm signing another. I'm signing another something coming soon. I've already signed one, and that's the contract I have with the Amana. And see, when I talk about it, my heart starts to flutter. It starts to flutter right there. Anyway, it's not going anywhere because I can't go anywhere. It won't let me go anywhere because it needs me to finish. And I plan on finishing. I thought I was going to leave, but and I still feel like I'm going to leave, but I think I have to stay and do what I have to do. But I was very disheartened with the way things were. I mean, I spent, I don't know how many millions of dollars, but from 15, 16 years, I spent a lot. And, and I asked for a little bit, and I didn't even ask. I didn't know how to ask. And there was very little response. And I wanted to just walk away because I found it very, very insulting, not to me, but to everyone.
So let's leave that topic for a bit and let's talk about redefining the OG of personal private aviation that was exposed to you in your new universal ride that appeared in the stairwell of the apartment building that would probably freak everybody out.
That's all bullshit. Like that show on TV? Bullshit, right?
Bullshit, yeah.
But the thing is it was there.
This thing was not bullshit.
That's right. And I'm going to win $1 million. And I'm not going to need all your money or a dollar. But no, that was in the hallway. And it was big. And I knew enough about it because my history, I created the mythological courses at Mount Allison University with Dr. Skovanek. After a season of just stories and so on, which I liked because I created that too, Dr. Skovanek came and we added to it. And it was actually what I like to go to bed with. I'd go to bed and I'd read the stories, and next day I'd be in class and I'd tell the stories and ask people questions and so on, and he would too. And they would answer them because they liked them too. We don't like the hard stuff all the time. The stories were really Aphrodite and everybody and how this happened and excuse me, and that happened, and we liked them, and I liked it a whole bunch. So I had all that information within, and I could use it because I still had it. It wasn't like being told, okay, when you're done reading this, you might not retain any of it. If so, then I never would have gotten through. Nobody would have. Anyway, I think that's good.
So, as the Amana and somebody that is proudly Irish, you represent two distinctly different societies.
Even when I filed things, when I went after everybody, and I did the treaty of the Monaco Accords and all the other things, when I got mad because my money never got through.
Right.
My money, they tried to screw me. What's their names? Jamie Dimon.
Yeah.
I call him Demon. He doesn't like that. But I try to get my money through there so I can use it. And they hold my money so they can use it.
Right.
And they can get interest on it. And it might take a month or more to get your money until you raise hell. And when you raise hell, you get money. So I raised hell. And the next thing you know, things started happening. And that's when I created the Monaco Accords. And I wanted to separate the East from the West. I wanted a line there An invisible line may be okay, but I wanted a line that where we could sit in the East and not worry about our money. With them doing what they're doing, they would keep the money in New York or maybe some other place, and they'd hold it until they thought they had to get rid of it. And that's basically what happened. And I went off like a firecracker, which is, I do have some fire to me.
Hard to believe.
Hard to believe. Yes, I thought so too. I never could believe I have fire. That's the crazy world of Arthur Brown. You know, fire! No, 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 I beg you to burn. Anyway, to go further, I had all that. I understood that. And I went out and I said, I'm going to do something. We did something by creating something like Skype, only thing better. I did something by making it clear that we needed our own civil, the bank we have, what's it, the AI,
AIIB.
AIAB. That's the, what do you call it, bank? I can't remember that either now. But that's a central bank. And I made so much noise about our own central bank, they built one. And, and, and BRICS came along because of me, because I made a lot of noise there too. And all of them thought that they were going to lose.
A lot of people don't understand that the money and the gold and the assets were taken from the East and controlled by the West.
Yeah.
And the West never allowed the East any room for discernment or direction of where those funds should go.
Queen Elizabeth used to jerk everybody off. That's what happened. You know, she never really wanted to give anything back. She'd even bring them into London and promise them that they were going to be speaking to George Bush. Speaking to George Bush is like nothing there.
Yeah. And
you know, nothing.
You told your viewers the story about General Hahn.
General Hahn, who was the head of the family, he went over there thinking he was going to get something. And I mean, you're talking about a wonderful guy, an older guy, and someone who really revered his people. He went there. And there's pictures of him going up 10 Downing, I believe it is, and he's going up and he's got a smile on his face like everything's going to work. And then you look at the next picture and he's coming out and he doesn't have the smile anymore because he waited for George Bush and George Bush never got through. And you know something? That was all Dragon family money. Golden Dragon, who also worked with the government of China and the military of China and many other places that you would never know. If I told you, you wouldn't believe it. It extends worldwide.
So going back to your feathered visitor, don't you find the symbolism unique and on multiple layers where you're representing the hopes and aspirations of Asia, for lack of a better definition of geography, as well as being proudly Irish, that such an amazing creature manifests in front of you?
That amazing creature could be very scary, I think. And it didn't frighten me. I guess that's the reason why they do the things they do with me, because I don't get frightened. I feel like it's going to be something that's par for the course, that's going to help us, not hurt us. And I understand a little bit that if you jump on its back, you can never fall off, never. And he could fly upside down, and you're glued to it, like. You understand?
I do.
And you know, I can't say anything about things as such because I went up those mountains in Indonesia, and I jumped from one side of the mountain to the other side, that little crevice with a place where I could put my foot in here like this, and I had to scale my way around. But I couldn't get across that. I had my legs stretched like this, and if I make one mistake, I go down about 800 feet.
So, as a man that's survived all of the trials that you went through with flower bath, because no one had ever survived that, then.
Yeah, but how come?
But I'm just saying.
How come?
Let me go through this because then you've got the scaling across the ledge.
Yeah, but that
Okay.
didn't really count as a ritual. That was a stupidity thing.
That was a stupidity thing. Okay. And then there was the communication with and the releasing of the jinn.
The jinn were.
And then seeing them scale the mountain.
Yeah, but that's not a ritual.
No, but
these are things I
these
had
are
to
things
see.
that you experienced.
I had to see.
And then there was the total eclipse
Of the sun in the afternoon.
In the afternoon, and no one else witnessed it.
We did, but
down below, no one else.
No one down below. They didn't see it down below.
But it was very real for everybody that was directly with you.
It went pitch black.
And
in the bunkers right next to us.
And speaking of pitch black, there was also the energy rod and rising out of the water in the pitch black, and that was well witnessed. That was videoed.
Well, that was dark too, but as it came up from the bottom, it was like a ball like this, okay, and I could see it coming up from where I was sitting. You saw me on the rock. I could see from there. But I can't swim. I'm not going to that water. I don't know what's in that water. So I'm looking, and I can see the light coming up. And Nelu said, "Look at the light, the light, the light." And then, but I looked at the other one. They were looking at this one, which was round, and the other one was a scepter, like this, and it was wedged in between the two sides of the cave, like, and coming like this, and it would go up, hit the top, stop for a minute, and come down again the other side. And it'd go into the water, and you could still see some of the light. But that was gone now. But 2 seconds later, the other side again. And it would go up and stop again.
So you've personally experienced all of these things, so it's really no oddity that all of a sudden a phoenix that's 100 meters tall appears in the foyer of an apartment building outside your door.
That's still strange. But you know something? He can never play center on my basketball team because he's got big feet.
on the life experiences of Neil Keenan, you're saying that one still nudges the weird shigometer to another level.
I'll tell you that. I have to say myself that whoever put that there is bullshit. Like that show on television, bullshit.
Those of us that have spent time with you know that it wasn't bullshit.
Oh man,
we know it wasn't bullshit because
great colors, by the way.
Yeah,
great colors. But I don't think that's what we're looking at. It's interesting, huh?
It's more than interesting. The fact that these things continually happen that push the boundary of what we perceive as reality versus the actual reality.
I think that the rituals I went through, the 7 of them, I think that had something to do with everything. I think that the flower bath had something to do with my jumping from one side of the cliff to the other, because I felt too comfortable. I would never have jumped from one side to the other. Never. I was hanging on like this with my arms out and my feet out, my legs stretched. And I'm going to fall and go 700 to 800 feet down below. And instead I'm going to take a chance. And I wouldn't do this. I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to push off this side with my leg and get over to the other side and then hold on to whatever I can get my hands on. And that's when the magic man grabbed me and pulled me in a little bit, and I held on, and he took me to the other side. All I had to do was just put my leg up.
Taking a bag full of dirt and focusing your energy on it and dropping it, and it turns into a beautiful flower. These things are just...
I never thought about that one.
Like that. Those things...
That happened, but you saw it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, the reality of it is that it did happen. So this next latest installment is, not out of place. It's not an out year.
I think the Sultan had something to do with everything.
Tell
them. Tell what?
Tell the Sultan. Hey, did you?
he can hear me. I think he had something to do with everything. He told me that I if I my
When you manifest,
if I manifested and practice manifesting, I would be able to do anything and everything I want.
including the Celtics winning the championship.
You can't count on that. Can't count on that, buddy. They're gonna have to get another player.
They need a big man.
They do.
So the Phoenix could probably, you know.
Oh God, could he have looked at that? He's bigger than the backbone. But the Phoenix is there to give me rides. I understand to help me. He's not there to cause me trouble or anybody else trouble. It's there to give me transportation should I need it. If I need to get to one place to another. There's many bunkers, remember, there's 103 bunkers. And I'd have to get from one to another and I'd have to climb up the mountains. Whereas I could get on the back of the Phoenix and go and be there in minutes. I just thought about that just now. Other than that, I didn't know why the Phoenix was here, other than to scare people.
Okay, so to help wrap things up, language has become specifically and very specially important to you for clarity, so that you understand exactly what you're saying, what other people are saying, and perceiving. What I'm getting at is this: regarding spirituality, were you given a clear message from these experiences and appearances to share with your viewers and the rest of the world?
Clear what?
Were you given a clear message to share?
Yeah, that after going through all the things I've been through, and for example, from step 1 to 7, I never saw that how this related to what we're doing. Of course, we're going to have my energy come up in the bottle, which or bubble, whatever you want to call it, and that was something that had nothing to do, as far as I'm concerned, relating to what we had to do. I wanted that bubble, and I asked for it the next day. They went to get it, and as soon as they touched it, it broke. They came back to me apologizing for me. When I go back, I want it again. I want it. I want it. I want it. I want to put it on a table next to me because I'm losing my energy. And sometimes I don't have any. And I might want to make sure that I'm able to continue to finish this because this is the most important thing that's happening, I think, on the planet, or ever happened on the planet, is that we're going to get rid of those who created what we call the planet and give it back to us once again. So we can do what we have to do to make it nice for everybody, not just for certain few that think that they're superior.
That's a fantastic message.
You know, I think that I look at it like that. And there's so many other things I look at. I mean, you have to remember, I've gone to the mountains. Monkeys! I got monkeys.
Now you have a phoenix.
I got a phoenix and I got a bunch of, and the other monkeys think I'm their uncle. I think sometimes they do. But that
you are turning into a Dr. Doolittle.
Hey, we had Joe. We had who else was there?
Tomas.
Tomas was there. Joe was there.
Stanley.
Who?
Stanley.
Stanley?
Yeah.
Which Sunberg?
The other from Michigan.
That's something.
That's something.
No, Stanley wasn't there. That was Joe, and that was Tomas with me. And we had just come back, and we had climbed up the mountain like this. You climb up like this, all the way like this, up to the top, like this, and just. And there's no sides to hold you up, and you can slip off the side very easily, and that's the end of everything. But we were up there, got to the hotel, and first of all, the Queen of the South Sea, when I got there, I never, I never believed in the Queen of the South Sea. That was, and that mermaid, the Little Mermaid picture that I watched one time with Charlie. I think it was Charlie, and I'm watching it, and the mermaid was Zeus's daughter, and black eyes like under here, and ha ha ha, I'm gonna get you, like the World of Oz or something. And I watched that, and then I'm going into this hotel, and I'm told that the Queen of the South Sea is going to be coming to meet with me as requested by one of my associates. And I thought it was a joke. But they had a room for the Queen of the South Sea on the sixth floor that had been inhabited by General Sicano and the Queen of the South Sea. They both own the building. And so I said, okay, that makes it sound more real, but it's still General, it's still President Sicano, not General, President Sicano. And so I was downstairs that night, and nobody goes up there in that room. And we got up into that room that afternoon, and they let us look around, and they let me look around, and I saw a lot of things that I liked, and I just still couldn't clearly make it out. And that night we went out downstairs and had a hamburger, and right on the water, the Indian Ocean, right on the back of the hotel. And we looked up, Nailu did, looked up, and the lights were on the terraza of the where we were taken that day, and there's not supposed to be any lights. It was on, and we could see people dancing up there or something. And we finished our hamburger and went to our rooms. And the next day we got up for breakfast, and we were having breakfast, and into the room comes uh, two little what would you call them? They're not
Imps.
they weren't midgets,
Imps.
imps. Imps, and they're crushing each other like this all the time, all the way up and down, going up and down to the front of the breakfast buffet and so on. And I'm wondering what's going on, and they keep coming back because something's coming in. And all of a sudden, the woman comes in, looks like the person from The Little Mermaid. It looks just like that person, wearing that green outfit and everything else. And when she got by our table, and we had enough people at our table who were nervous, and I'm not the only one who saw this. And this woman, who looked like she came from the water, and I don't know how to tell you how it came from the water because it's the Indian Ocean and there's no boats out there. There's no ships. And I looked because I had heard from the Magic Man and others that she's there to visit me because I'm new, and I'm going to be coming to do things. And she looked at me and stopped, she froze. And I thought, oh God. And Nailu put his head in his hands so he couldn't see her. And Nailu's the funniest guy in the world when things like this happen. And I'm looking at this woman, and she's looking right at me. And I didn't know until later that she was looking through my eyes to my soul. She wanted to know, what about you? And all these things I'm learning later. And she finishes her, let's just talk about it. And we're talking at the table, and it was, I think, Joe, maybe, who's talking about, Joe was with me, who about her looking into my soul and other things. And I said, what's she looking for? He says, I don't know, Neil, but she's looking into your soul. And you're looking right back at her. Is she drawing you, or are you assisting her? I said, I think I'm going eye to eye. He says, I think she's winning. And Joe said, I said, I don't know. So she came back from breakfast after having it looked like a nice breakfast. I wouldn't go up there and get my breakfast anymore because she had me. She was going to tear me up, maybe. I don't know. I didn't know what was going on there. And the little imps kept going up and down near her. And I didn't walk, I stood up when she came by us. And there was another look eye to eye. And it was a serious look. And I looked at her and she looked at me. And I was saying to myself, what do I do here? And don't do anything, just let her do it. So I just kept looking, and she didn't move, and her eyes didn't close; they were open. And I finally looked at her and gave her a nod, and I nodded my head, and yes, like I understood something, and maybe I did subconsciously. I'm not sure there either, because she nodded her head yes, and I nodded, went okay, and then she decided to go back with the imps holding the back of her dress and everything else. And I looked at Nalo and I looked at Thomas and everybody else. And that's why they say, well, we were there. We know they were there. There's no joking about who was there. They were there. And was it different? Holy moly. It was different. Was it dangerous? No. Did I ever feel threatened? No. I felt like I belonged.
But it was it was way past the outer boundary of what you thought was reality.
Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah. And
so, being visited by Christ, your parents, a banshee, and a phoenix is no longer a surprise to you.
The one that got me going was my mom and dad. But the phoenix, I never expected to see a phoenix. I see it in I see it in the history books and stuff, and during wars and stuff like that, and how they came in and they ate them. They ate the people and things like that. And this was in my hallway. And then when I finally looked at after about 40 minutes or something, I went out and looked again, just a little bit, but not realizing it could kick open the door if I let it or if I wanted to. And I opened the door and I looked. And I said, "Go home now." That's what I said. Go home now. And I came back in the house. I opened the door and looked, and there was nothing there. Nothing. With JC the other night, 1 minute he's standing right next to me. And this isn't for the first time really for that either, because Nancy said he knew who I was. And Nancy now wants to talk to me. And Nancy's one of my dearest friends. And she had a hard time there for a while when Gene O'Dean and everybody came and took shots at us and said we're full of shit and all that other stuff. And so they sent things to people all over the world because they couldn't handle it or because they didn't belong, you know? And I looked at it out there and I just said, it's time to go home. I came and laid down. I'm lying down here. This is the room which was torn apart before. We've fixed it to a point where I can actually lay down on the sofa and just sleep because I'm tired. Tired. There's so much stuff that I've seen and so much stuff that I've done. You know, I've seen the snakes coming out of the logs and so on. The pythons, big heads like this, like this, like this, big. Looking at see who's coming. Look who's coming to dinner. He thought I was Sidney Poitier or something. I think, you know, but no, we saw that, and we saw the what do you call it? The gear monster on the log underneath Nelu. It was right between his legs, and I told him he was going to become ballless. He's going to bite your things off. Don't move, sir. Don't scare me. Don't. Oh, his mouth is open. Oh, and I was having fun because I was down the end where the founders of this spot location had been buried.
So, is there any closing statements for this latest episode of Keenan's Believe It or Not?
Yes, let's find Ripley. If we find Ripley, they have to believe it. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
Anyway, look, I just wanted to give you a little bit more information because of what's happening now. It's hard to believe that we've done all this. It's hard to believe that there were at least 500-600 monkeys on the rooftop of the registration of the hotel. And they blamed me.
But they were there.
I told them I'm not running a circus here. I don't have a carnival. This is coming from your jungle across the street. And if they wanted to look to see what was happening, all they had to do was look in the trees across the street, and they were filled with monkeys. And they were following us back to the hotel. And they got there before us. And when I went to take my clothes out and put them on the hangers and stuff, they were on the, what do you call it, the rooftop down below, and there was Joe and Tomas there. And it was absolutely insane. They kept telling me, come on, they're calling for you. Who? They're calling for you. Come over here. They didn't even want to tell me. Come over here. And
So
I went.
the real truth of the matter is that, however strange all of this may seem to anybody that is hearing,
It all comes back to me, I know.
it all comes back to you, but the witnesses, the videos, the photos, obviously lend themselves. It happened. It's real.
I'd like to take 10 beauties into the room and show them the monkeys down below. Especially if they're blondes, because you know something? Monkeys like the color. Anyway, you could be a monkey. If I'm a monkey's uncle, you could be a monkey's aunt. Just joking there. But I don't know what would happen if I ever took people into the wilderness like I go. I don't know. I've seen white cobras. I've seen the tigers, the white tigers. I've seen,
The Sumatran tigers.
yeah, Sumatra tigers. I've seen them. I've seen other two of them. I heard them screaming, and they don't scare me because of. I think again it comes down to the bath, the flower bath, and I think that's why they have it first.
Because it raises your frequency to such
Yes,
a high level.
yes, I think that. I think that now it raises. It, remember, I was tired at that time too, because it had been years and years of me fighting with the cabal. And all of a sudden now I had this energy, this amazing energy, and but when it came time to do certain things, the energy was just where it had to be. So something was playing with me somewhere, and that was right there with the monkeys, and that was a different story. Okay, but this here with the tigers and the cobras, the white cobra. That's the magic man. He couldn't believe it. Nobody, not many people can believe anything, but more important than all of that, I gotta sit up on this one. More important than all of that was, no, this one. More important than all of that, than all of the things I'm talking about. And you could be sitting there saying, what a pile of shit. This is bullshit. You're guilty. No points. Like that show on television. But no, what was more important than all of that was the fact, I lost my thought. See, the thought's gone again. He said that's going to happen.
Spiritual element.
Hmm?
The spirit, the level, the amount of importance that this is spiritual, not just physical.
Yeah, it was spiritual. I mean, we were surrounded by monkeys. They, oh, we had a it was like this, all cement, all the way up to the top. The door was like the door you couldn't see because of the rocks. You saw the pictures. The rocks were there, and you had to move the rock. And I had the stick that could move the rock, and I touched. I felt like Alibaba. I touched the three spots like they told me to do, and I couldn't see it, but the rocks were moving. All of a sudden, the rocks from the top of the mountain were coming down because you're changing the program that they're on. All of a sudden, they don't have the support that they had before, but the rocks were this big coming down from the top of the mountain, and you had to wait a while for them to get there even. But I'll tell you right now, if you got hit by them, you were dead. And they didn't hit anybody, thank God. Almost got Nelu. And then Nelu went and checked in that hole that goes into the rock itself. He looked in there because it had been put there to block it. And he looked in there and he could see something moving toward him fast. All of a sudden there were red eyes looking right at him. And Nelu falls back on his backside. And there's enough room though in back. You can't fall off the back, I don't think, too easy. But he was there and he was looking at it like, sir, what was that? Nelu, it wants to eat you. And Nelu figured that was the end of our day. But we still had more to do. And that's when the lights were coming on from the eclipse. And we took off. We took off and I went back to the hotel. That night they came out a second time to see what they had to see. I didn't go. And I didn't want to take I didn't want to take too many chances. I didn't think I was in control of my own destiny there. You know, I thought that things could happen to me. Being the monkey's uncle, you know, I could be like that guy in what was it, Apocalypse Now, and go into the jungle and be the leader of the monkeys. But I thought that was David, what's his name, from England. You know, hey, hey, we're the monkeys. I didn't want to do that. Good song though. So we went back. I'm telling you, there's so much. I can't tell my wife or anybody the story because if I do,
Looney bin.
it's a waste of time. I'll write it in a book and someday with the people that I know because they know. It's easier to write it in a story. Like Thomas has written 2 stories already, and he's holding them, and each one's better than the next.
It is.
And I don't know what's going to happen next, but I know that I should be leaving any day. But the bad guys are going to try to keep me from going anywhere. And they have told me, to hell with you people. They don't care about you people. But they don't care. They don't care because they have to keep me from getting there. And they have tried. They've stolen. They've hurt me. I don't know what other things they've done to me, but they've done a lot of things to me. That I fight back. I fight back, and it just gets them worse than they already are. The Matter. They could be like the Mad Hatter or something. I don't know, but we fight. Me and the group, we fight, and we're going to fight. I guess to the end because that's what I was told by the Phoenix. That I'm going to fight until the end. Is it time? And the Phoenix would tell me. And if I wanted to ride to do something, I could get on the Phoenix, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. If I do it once or I see somebody else do it, I might do it. So maybe you might do it by helping me because you understand now that that thing is out there and I need to get on it. And maybe you should go first. If you do that, it'll be a great help. And in the meanwhile, until then, I just have to keep remembering the things that happened and the things that will make this. You see, again, Harry Potter and the information from Harry Potter came from the elders that are working with people like me. Well, working with me, say. They're not working with people like me. They're working with me. If maybe not the exact same ones, but I got 29 elders. And other ones have nothing. They try to get in and they can't get in. And that's that. I don't know how you got me on that one, but boy, it's a hell of a story. It could be a lot longer, climbing the mountains and so on, and you know, it could be. Oh, before I leave, I want to let you know I sat on a rock up in the mountain. I heard it was a talking stone, and what it did when I sat on it and the frequencies were there, it told me a history of the mountains itself. I wasn't able to do that because I didn't have the frequency. I was very tired. And I have to go back and do that if I want to know the history of the mountains. I mean, the stairs in the mountains are this high. You can't walk up them. Your leg doesn't stretch that much. You have to climb up them, pull yourself up like I did. Unless you're a 7-foot giant playing for a female team. The males will be after you, don't worry. It's an amazing story, and I love them. I love the jungle. I love what happened. And should anything happen to me, it should be documented. Kevin keeps telling me, Tomas tells me, and I just sit here and I say I'm tired. Well, I'm going to see a doctor today and tomorrow, and I'm tired, and he knows it. And he tells me the same thing. I should document it. All in all, I'm glad you've been there for 180 years listening to me, and I'll see you all soon. I hope. I hope that we get this thing over with, so that we can begin doing the change that has to be made. We have to do it. And for you, those of you who haven't done anything today, don't do it now either, because you're a little too late to help us. As for you who have been there with us, you're always with us. It's not good to bring people along at the last minute. You guys are great. Thank you. I need an ice cream. You have ice cream?